You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Boom! Welcome back, everybody. You are watching Sketch Up with Mog and Mel on a Thursday night on The Experience. Tonight, we've got our special guest, Mike Tenner, that's here tonight, along with, and as you can see on the screen, my beautiful partner, Mog Park. And with her is one of our artists, Fong Fong, and they will be joined by other artists as well. So stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this brief intro. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, our guest is Mike Tenner. He is the creative director for Bad Bug Media. And if you haven't noticed, they've got a lot of good projects coming up on board. They've got one that's running right now, and we're going to get into that. But first, hit that follow button. Help us increase our fellowship so that way we can continue to bring you wonderful content like our show and Nick Perucci's The Original Art Show that appears every Friday night at 7 p.m. Okay. All right, so check that out along with the other shows we have during the week. Don't forget to put in #EXP Bad Bug. And we've got a bunch of goodies to give out today free to you, and you'll see that in the last segment. So don't go away. Stay for the whole show. All right, so we have Mog and Fong on there on the screen. How are you ladies doing?
Good. No, you're so dark.
So dark.
Yeah, that's intentional.
You need to turn the lights on or something.
No, I'm gonna stay this way. I'm gonna be the dark man today. As the sun
gonna
goes
get darker,
down,
dude, because sunset.
Yeah. Well, I know. As the sun goes down, my face will start to appear. So yeah, I'm gonna remain the mystery man right now. All right. Hey, it's my call, my show. All right. So let's get down to it. All right. What are you ladies going to be drawing today?
I will be drawing Final Fantasy 14, Heaven's Word. Okay. If anybody does play that, which I don't, but the art is amazing. She is mystery.
Decided yet.
She hasn't decided yet. Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she wants.
Okay. All right. Since she doesn't know, if you guys have any suggestions, go ahead and put that in the comments. Hey, let's help Fong Fong out here, or what I like to call her, Fangs. If you have a suggestion for her that you'd like to see, and that will encourage you to bid on her art, go ahead and put that down there. Stevie B writes, Mel is the new Lamont Cranston. Ooh.
Yes, we're in.
How many of you even know who that is?
We are in a room with AC. It's really hot today.
Wait, okay. Do you know who Lamont Cranston is?
No.
Oh. I'll give you a hint. All right. He is from the Pulps. All right. Let them figure that out. Morgan from Darkstalkers is a suggestion from Mike Wesolowski. Okay. So that's one for you that you can consider, Fun. Morgan, a very, very popular character from Darkstalkers that a lot of people like to draw. Bridgeport Chronicles, I would love to see, thanks to Marvel being in the full Blood Hunt story, a female Dracula look. Oh, okay, there you go. And Derek is coming in with, Mel is doing an interview from Witness Protection.
Yeah, you look like what do you call those?
Yeah, they have to dark my face so that way they can't see who I am because. Okay, that's a good one. Kenneth Bird, can you the claim forms for us? So eventually, Kenneth, but somebody has to win something in order for you to fill out those forms. Okay. So eventually those will come on, okay, and it probably won't be until like later tonight because we don't know who won that or who's winning anything yet, okay. But yeah, we will be putting those out. All right, let's check in with our main guest, Mike Tenner. Let's bring him out. Hello,
Hey, everybody.
Mike. Hey, wow. You talk about dark. Your background is dark there.
That's just to hide the messes.
He wants to hide the messes. And how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great, and it was killing me being in the back room hearing you talk about Lamont Cranston. So, because I was like, I know the answer. I know who that is.
All right, give us the answer. Tell these people who Lamont Cranston is.
The Shadow knows.
There you go. The Shadow knows. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if you knew that answer, I didn't see anybody pop that up. But
I was disappointed.
I was
like, come on,
guys. And I did give a clue. So
yeah, that was a good clue too. That narrows it down quite a bit.
Yeah, there's not too much characters in that area. Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty in that era, but there's only somebody that made it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, our Mog and Fang in a hotel room.
Yes, this is actually a day bed. Do you know what a day bed is? I never knew what it was until Mel got me one. It's like it's a one that you can actually use as a couch.
Yeah, well, people use it as like a couch, and then it's a bed. It's got pillows on there and stuff like that, and it's a lot of people would have that as a guest bed in a room.
Yeah.
And in case if somebody came over and stuff, and when nobody's really there as a guest, you can use it as a couch to sit on and lay around in that room, where that would be.
That's
so
where
that
was my grandparents
definitely. Yeah, we're definitely laying around during the day for sure.
Yeah, but the cool thing is that bed is comfortable.
Yes,
it's very comfortable. So sometimes you'll find us like just laying there and just relaxing and chilling on it because it's comfortable. It's more comfortable than my regular bed,
That's my couch.
But there you go. Yeah. Anyway, let's bring out the other artists and see what else we have on the auction board. Jen is back in with us. Glad to have her. Mr. Fish Lee is there, and John Stinsman is also there. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Good. All right, Jen, what are you working on?
I am doing, since it's summertime, I'm doing a Robin Hood in a bikini.
Robin Hood in a bikini. Okay, so this is, if you haven't figured it out, this is Robin Hood from Zenescope. Not the Robin Hood that you're familiar with from the fairy tales. Although, of course, this Robin Hood is kind of a spin-off off of that. All right, and Mr. Fish, what are you working on?
I am going to be working on a sketch cover with the characters from my new book that is launching as part of Comictopia on BackerKit July 18th, and it is Alice Lost in Wonderland. And so it's going to have Alice and her guardian Big Ten, and they're going to be on a copy of Green Zone. We're also giving one of these away, the first issue of Fish Tales.
And that's your own twist on Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, it's actually it's a story I've been working on for like 30 years, and it incorporates all my favorite stories that I've worked on over the years, and my own ideas and public domain characters, and mashes it all together in one interdimensional rift. So Neverland, Oz, Wonderland, they're all names for this place where all these worlds are crashing together.
I see. Very good. All right, and you have a starting bid of that $50, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, and Jin's also starting on 50. So you want to place bids on those? Go ahead and put that into the comments, and that will get them started on the board. Now, Mog's piece, the Final Fantasy, that's starting high at $250 because she's going to go full board on that, and she's definitely not going to finish today. It's going to take her like a few days to do that. Okay, if anybody bids on it. If not, we're taking it to the Fan Expo Denver, which is happening next weekend, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's get to Mr. John Stinsman, who will be drawing. Okay, can't hear you.
You might be muted.
Okay, he tapped out, and
That was just enough.
he's gonna tap back in, and that does happen time to time with John, but that's okay. He'll come back. All right. So, Mike, you currently have a campaign that is running right now. Tell us about that.
Sure. So, we always have a campaign running because there's so many creators in Bad Bug. So every
you guys
month
have a lot.
Yeah, and it feels like it's all coming from me, but it's really not. It's like there's like 10 of us. There's 10 comic creators in there, so they're all putting out their content, and we have to schedule all that out. So every month there's quite a few. So this right now we've got 2 active right now. The first one that has been the longest live right now is Undercity Tales #2, which is like an anthology series.
Okay.
Think like Sin City, but with aliens, essentially. And it's the 1950s. There's this massive underground city that is dedicated to aliens from all over the galaxy that want to relocate to Earth to start over. Several of them being refugees and just various walks of life. And obviously, when you put that many species together in one city, underground, there's going to be conflicts, there's going to be murders, there's going to be lots of crime. So this series deals with every issue telling a different story about a different character that lives in this city. The writer being Scott Wilkie, the artist is Dave Swartz. He did the heavy lifting of all the inks and colors, and then Dave Lentz lettered it.
All right. And there's a link for that in the comments. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and do. Is there any special rewards or add-ons that you have going on in the campaign?
Yeah, we are absolutely we have a pretty large collector base that follows us, so we know that they like to collect series of covers. And so what we do now is with every project we try to pick the right cover artists for the right project, like people that like to draw these sorts of things on their downtime, so we get some really great pieces that come from artists who are actually inspired by the material. So we've got 4 covers available on the campaign. My favorite one is the one from Matthew Warlick. It's just a picture of the city. It's just this image of the city, and it's just nice to be able to step back and look at this world that only exists on paper and in our minds, right? So it's kind of cool to see this living, breathing Art Deco. City.
It does look very cool. Is there a way we can bring that Kickstarter up and take a look at that? Yeah, because it does have some cool art in there. Actually, I thought it was very catchy from the poster that I've seen on the Facebook, right? And who's some of the other artists that you have on there?
So AZ Volt did a variant cover for us. He is the colorist on another one of our series, which is Hypergeist. And something about AZ is he's a very like neon artist. Like all of his art is just very colorful, very intense. He's just a master of color. And he wanted to have the opportunity to do a cover because it's been quite some time since he's done one with us. But the one that I have pulled up over on my screen here is cover C, which is the main female character in this issue is an exotic dancer. And he did this really, I think, just a really artful and classy cover of her that he just adds a certain little flair and adds these sparkles and shimmer to her outfit, which just really elevated the piece. And he did an amazing job on it.
Yeah.
Really cared for. I really like that one. And the one that Shane Oakley did for us is it's very unique as well. It's cover B, but it's
there you go. Oh yeah,
kind of a retro-y looking piece. It kind of feels like it echoes that era in some regard. Very new.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It does have that new RS feel on there. Yeah. Very nice.
And that's what we offered for this campaign. The funny thing is like Undercity Tales. This was actually the second book we ever made. This series, and the first issue didn't do that well on Kickstarter. Like it funded, but it only got $3,000, and our goal was, right at $3,000. So we just barely crossed over that line to get it. Okay. So we decided to shelve it because we were like, well, maybe the reader base isn't there. You know, like maybe it's just maybe we made something that we wanted to make, but not a lot of other people resonated with it, so we shelved it. But we always wanted to come back to it. We're in a better spot now when it comes to finances, so we can actually make this book, and even if it doesn't necessarily fund incredibly well, we'll be able to still continue to make this series. And it's very, for Scott, the writer, and myself, this is a series that we have an
but this campaign is already fully funded, right?
It is. Now we set our funding at a $500 budget for printing, because that's all we would need right now to get us the inventory that we want of the book. So it's not covering our art costs by any means, but it's what we would need to actually physically distribute the book.
Is there another reason why you would set it that low? And,
we were told early on, like when the project funds really fast on Kickstarter, it tricks the algorithm and gets you higher up in the queue, but I don't think that's true. There's just so many projects launching on Kickstarter all the time that I doubt that if we were all doing that, it wouldn't work.
I know what you mean. It's like the Fast Pass deal that gets offered in like Disneyland. What's the point, or even at the conventions? What's the point of getting a VIP pass when that VIP pass is just as long?
Right. Exactly. So we just set it at like our budgets. The way that we do it now is we only set our goals at how much it would cost to print, what we typically need now in terms of volume and stuff. So like I'd say probably this comic costs closer to $6,000 to make, probably somewhere in there. There's variables because of your page count and artist rates.
Right. So how do you compensate for that? Because $500 to $6,000, that's a big difference there. Do you just hope that you're going to hit $6,000?
We can't run our business on it. But what we do is, we love all our children, right? Like we love all the children in our house. But it's okay to admit that you have an affinity for a certain child or two, right? And Undercity Tales is one for us. Just in all the projects we make, we just love this one a lot, and so we wanted to come back to it. Now seemed like the right time because we found the right artist. But what we do is we have an erotic side to our business. There's like two sides, really. There's the retail side, like safe for work side, and then you've got your erotic side. Now, obviously, the erotic side is doing insanely well on Kickstarter, and that's what most of our readers know us for now is that side. But it's really funny because although we're known for that, we have just as many safe for work titles. Like I actually counted it up for the guys because it feels like it's all erotic, but like I counted it up for them. I was like, no. We have the same amount of series that are going to go to retail that are also going to be on Kickstarter. So what we do is we take the funds that we accrue from the erotic titles, and they self-funds. They pay for themselves, and then they pay for Bad Bug to continue producing books on the safer work side, so that we can keep both pillars up, and there's a foundation on both sides and stuff. So that's been the model forever for us.
All right. So all right. So that allows you to get the funds that you need. Bank some of it so we can do these projects that are more personal for you, right? And sex sells, and that's what brings in the money. The model that you have is being used by a few other people as well, and it seems to be working. So that might be the model to kind of follow.
I'll tell you, it was hard to get the guys. It was hard to get the guys bought into the idea because, like, when I was talking about it with them, I was the first one to say, "Hey, I'm comfortable doing something like this, like these rock titles." And one by one, they all kind of like started, opening up more and realizing that you can still tell stories.
That is the hard part. Is to sell it, because I don't want to just put nude bodies out there and that's all we're doing, right? Because nobody wants to get that reputation. And that stigma caught to them that will prevent them from getting real work or furthering their career or so that is a concern even for us. That's been a concern with Mog, and for me, I'm comfortable with it. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've read stuff like that in comics before. There wasn't a lot out there before. Okay, but I always tried to look at it. Okay, it's a story. And what the heck, man? Are you going to get turned on by looking at a nude girl that's drawn? at this time we still had Playboy and Hustler out there, you know? So why would you want to look at that when you can look at real photos that weren't touched up too much?
I pointed out something about this too. Like the female form in particular is like one of the most beautiful things on the planet.
It is.
And anybody that
totally
argues
agree.
that point, okay, you have a different preference.
You
know what I mean? But
yeah.
I think we all can agree that you never get tired of seeing that form illustrated by different artists that have their own nuances and their own ways of enhancing pieces, even around that form, right? There's a lot of great artists out there that do that, and we're watching some of them right now. So the thing is as creators, our responsibility is to make sure that we give readers what they want or collectors what they want, but surprise them with the content and give value to it, so that way they want to do more, because we don't want to just sell a cover. We know that the cover invites them in, but we want them to stay for the story. It's the same marketing film SKUs, like you put a movie poster out there, you put a trailer out there, you show us the explosions, you show us all the good stuff that we want, but then you surprise us with an emotional story sometimes that we didn't know was going to be in there.
That's right.
And we walk away happy.
Yeah.
We don't feel cheated.
And that's part of the trick, right? Jen, how do you feel about that? I know you're pretty comfortable drawing the female form as you are right there. Is that something that you had to get used to, or is that something you were just like comfortable from the get-go?
I was pretty comfortable with it. I've had a couple of requests that, to me, they were a little bit stretching it.
Too lewd. Too lewd to be crude.
Bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing a lot of the things I get asked for, but I don't know. I like the more artistic style of it, I guess. And I guess people it's not quite crude enough.
the funniest ones to me, when I think about those, like if you're talking about like a specific kink, are the feet ones. Like I always crack up.
Yes.
It always cracks me up when I see those, because I'm like, all right, gotcha. Like that pose is very unnatural always when the feet are up in the front. It's just it's always kind of see them.
Yeah. How about you, John? Is that something you have been comfortable with?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me personally. I have a very religious Christian family that I'd like to sort of keep prying eyes off certain things, but
same here, dude. Same here, dude.
Same,
it was tough.
Same here.
It's just a respect thing, It's just respect for them as people. But I love Milo Manara and and Serpieri and his dream.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yep.
There's
totally
just so
agree
much
with you.
beautiful, gorgeous, amazing art out there in relation to the more Eurocentric adult books.
Yeah.
And there's no denying how well drawn and executed.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like when my in-laws come over, I have to think about, okay, what art do I need to take down? That they're not gonna like. Okay,
Right.
So they actually, when we went to Heroes Con, I think it was Heroes Con, but they were gonna come down, right? And we weren't gonna be here, but they wanted to drop some stuff off. And okay, I said, all right. So we arranged it so that way they could get in the house. And then when I was at the con, I was going, oh man, crap! I forgot to take this down and that down, and man, what are you going to say? Because they're very, very religious, and I said, oh well, they're going to find out anyway, so now I don't have to hide it anymore.
Yeah,
and I'll just blame it. It's Mog.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. You could probably just
she's
likes
the artist.
Boobies? Oh my goodness! I never would have imagined.
Because I have like art pieces that are hanging up, right, and the ladies in there, they're full nude.
Okay.
And
so those up on the walls.
Yeah, they're in a special place, but I'm sure they saw it.
Yeah. I have a downstairs packing station, and that's what we have down there, but it's in the basement. I never expect my mother to go there. So
yeah,
well, she plans to do our laundry, which I never.
But yeah, it's just beautiful art, as you say, the female form. And I feel acting like you. I've always been in love with that. You know, the nice lines, the curves that the female body has, right? And we see that with the art through history, right? And it's
Absolutely.
just, yeah, that's something that's there.
You know, and honestly, one of my favorite things, and it's funny that Jen's on because like Jen does a great job. This is hair. Like for me,
Yeah.
I get caught up more in not just the female form in its design and everything, but the way artists draw hair seems to be the one thing that seems to like pull me in more than anything with these illustrations. So
I'm the same way with you. I like the hair. And I like to see their take on what they can do with the hair. You know, not just that it's just like draping down there, but you know, it's blowing in the wind. It's it's kind of like all over the place, but not like wild. But there's like a shape and a form to it that makes it look nice. You know. And there are a lot of artists that can that know how to do that. Okay, so we are at 7:30. We're going to go ahead and take a short break here, and when we come back, we'll go ahead and review what everybody has been drawing and review what those starting bids are, and we'll take a look at that. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Whoa. Whoa. Did you miss it? Yeah, they can go by pretty fast. Let's slow down the footage.
Welcome. It's time to skim some comics. Miles Morales Spider-Man, I will just tell you that Miles is very important in his role as a vampire. So
it's fine. If you like Hercules, read it. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. It's fine.
The art is still stunning. There's a panel, little spoiler, there's a panel in this where Chitauri first hits Lion-O, and he is the best "did she really just hit me" face I've ever seen put in a comic book.
Wow, live reviews of new comic books so you can be ready for New Comic Book Day. What is this? Oh, I see. It's Minute to Skim It. Part of the experience.
What do you call the place on Spider-Man's wrists where the webs come out? His website. I hate myself for writing that joke, but you'd make me feel so much better if you just visited our website. We have links to our merch, new release lists, all the show info, and so much more. TheEXPLive.com.
Hey, welcome back to Sketch Up with Mog and Mel. Hit that follow button so that we can go ahead and increase our fellowship here, and hopefully we'll have another episode where we give you some great giveaways like those 9.8 slab books. Okay, and if you're wondering if we have giveaways tonight, of course we do. Put in #EXP Bad Bug, and that'll get you qualified. And see, Bridgeport Chronicles is asking, what is the best way to get a
hold of me?
A hold of Mike Tenner. What is the answer to that, Mike?
Facebook. Like I'm not a TikToker, so like that would probably be the best way to get in touch with me is through Facebook Messenger. And don't forget to send me a friend request first, and I usually approve all friend requests and then wait for it all to blow up in my face, and then
Mike, you got to watch out for Bridgeport.
Okay, I'll watch out for Bridgeport.
I've been with him since I started.
Okay.
Oh
Thanks
yeah.
for the warning.
Okay. He says he wants to ask you questions about Kickstarter campaigns and all that.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind.
There you go.
I saw
That's
Renato Camillo commented too. He's a artist that we've used a lot.
Yeah, I'm just reading that now. He says, "Hello, everyone. I had a lot of fun doing some covers. I love all the characters, especially Vanya. Vanya looks good, actually.
Thanks.
I was looking at that myself. Yeah, so glad that you can stop by. Let's go ahead and take a look at what everybody's got going. Mog, let's start with you.
Oh, okay.
Mog is working on a Final Fantasy piece.
Mog was unprepared.
Oh, what? You drew that already?
Yeah, like I'm telling you, when it comes to architecture background, I love it. I think that's actually my specialty.
That's awesome. Yeah, architecture is. You see so many artists really skimp on that.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
favor the characters in the foreground. So that's going to look amazing.
It's fake, but it's actually there's an airship to give like perspective, and this is the main Heavensward place. It's Ishgard, so it's like imagine like Gothic like tower of like incredibly like spires and tall buildings where it's even above the clouds. That's why the people in this area they travel by airships a lot. So I wanted to depict the airship here. And then you see like the golden Gothic spires.
Yeah, whenever Mog does these pieces, they sell really, really fast. We've never kept one for a long period of time. Once we put it out there, they pretty much sell like within 24 hours when they see the final piece. So we had one go last week at 150. That was like really, really cheap compared to what she put in there and the amount of time. But that's what she wanted. So hey, But this time, right, there's more work in there, and the starting bid on that is 250. So if you do want to bid on that, you can put that into the comments. And here we have Fung Fung's Morgan. Man, did you have that like already done and drawn somewhere?
Well, she started at the same time as me. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, that was quick. No reference?
Yeah, she's using reference. She has to.
Oh, okay.
So we don't know what. We have to look
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you asking for that, Fung? Thanks.
55.
55 to start. So if anybody wants to bid on
55.
that. Yeah, 55, right?
No, man.
75.
Oh, 75. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so fans got
Got this
Morgan.
commission 300. Think about it.
Okay, there you go. All right, so the starting bid on that is 75. Anybody wants to place a bid on that, go ahead and place that into the comments, and that will get her on the board. And just excuse me while I log this in here. And let's see what, John, we didn't catch you the last time, so let's go ahead and get you on here. Oh,
Nice.
hey,
Whoa,
that's
nice
Huntress. I
job.
recognize that.
Ready.
Yep. Getting cracked
And
out
that is-
colors.
Yeah, I know. We're not
like
even
that
halfway
character.
to showing. You already got colors in there. What are you asking on that to start off with?
65.
65. Okay. All right. So anybody wants to place anybody on that? Go ahead and put that in there. 65. Okay, for Michael. Now let's go to Jen, who is working on Robin Hood from Zenoscope.
Wow.
Oh, the face is looking good.
Mhm.
Yeah, the
Oh,
eyes.
yeah.
You got one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
eyes on there, so that's looking great. Nice lips.
Yeah, I like the shading on there. The hair's looking good.
Yep. Yeah, we were just talking about hair too.
Her
and-
hair is awesome. She does.
Yeah, and
incredible hair.
Jen does good hair. But then if you look at her hair, that's the reason why.
Stomach shading
Practice.
too. I like her stomach shading too.
Probably looks at her hair every day. Said, "Yeah, this looks right." I don't like the depth here. All right. So, and Jen is looking for a bid of an easy 50. So if you want to pick that up, bring Robin Hood home. $50 will get you on the board and get you started on that. All right, and now we have Fish, who's doing the Green Zone sketch cover, starting also at 50. Whoa, look at that.
Yeah,
got some nice line work going on there.
Thank
Love the expression.
it really is. I love the lips.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've had a lot of fun with
Yeah.
her because she's a very brash character and kind of angry, but it's letting me do expressions I don't normally get to put on female characters. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
like she's beautiful, but she's also violent and mean, and like I just love her. I just love her.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about.
I do like to
violence.
see more expressions on the faces, not the stoic ones that a lot of people tend to do, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help to tell the story as much, without
And she
it.
gets
So,
to make a lot of ugly faces at points because she's not like always bedroom eyes. Like,
Mhm.
at one point in the first issue, she's like hung her clothes up in a tree to try and air out overnight while they were sleeping, and then she's smelling them. And the face she made when she smelled, that's one of my favorite things I've drawn in a long time.
Wow, you look like you're having a lot of fun with this one.
I'm having so much fun on this book.
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. And how is it? How do you feel about drawing the type of women that fits into the sexy erotic category?
I have mixed feelings on it as I'm drawing a woman with her underboobs hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of answered in a way, right?
I used to be very, very pro, like, we can do whatever we want. We're artists. People have been painting the human body for 1,000,000 years. It's a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with it. And then I did the most beautiful painting I've ever done in my life of a spread eagle naked cyborg girl. And I had to wrap it up and cover it in my coat to sneak it past my mom and grandma at a family function to show it to like my brother and sister and my cousins. And I had to wrap it back up and hide it to get it past the family again to sneak it back out.
Mhm.
And that kind of weighed on me that, if I can't show what I'm doing to my whole family, then, maybe that wasn't the right path for me. And
Mhm.
so I made myself a promise after that I was only going to do things that I could feel comfortable showing my whole family. And then I, had kids not long after that. And now what I'll show my kids might be different than what other people will show their kids. Like when I did my last book, Caw the Cro-Magnon, I mean, he's a big violent bird barbarian and he's cutting people in half and stuff in the book. And people would pick it up because it kind of looked like He-Man or something. And they'd be like, "Oh, Timmy, like this is something you'd like." And I'm like, I just want to give you a heads up. There's a lot of people with their heads backwards and their insides on the outside. So like, if you're comfortable with your kids seeing that, that's one thing. Like me and my kids used to watch scary movies and dissect how they did the special effects and like, where was it video of a real person and where did it click to a foam head before the sword chopped it off and like all that stuff with the old school effects before it all went digital.
Yeah.
So my kids were fine with it, but
That's good. And it's interesting that you said that, because I had this kind of a similar conversation last night with a friend of ours, Todd Tochioka, if you guys know who that is. But anyway, what we were talking about is like, what do you expose your kids to? Okay, and how much of it? And for me, what I had told them, and they were actually kind of like in agreement too, is that I don't mind if they see everything, okay, because then I can explain to them what it is, right? The good and the bad side, so that way they get a full understanding, and it's not just like something that's taboo that we keep in the closet. I think if we treat it like that more openly, but give them the explanations on both sides, they're going to have more of an open mind as they grow older, and they'll be more accepting of what they see and not so critical of it as to like what we're seeing now. It's kind of horrendous. And that's what I did with my son. He's in college now, and he does have that open mind. So I think I went the right direction with that.
I don't think you can hurt when you're honest. I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you're transparent, And like my parents were closed off about things. They didn't want me seeing and knowing about certain things. But
sure,
as much as they tried, I mean, I was around kids my age who found out about it, and
right.
then they told me
Yeah.
about it.
Got it.
And then it's a lateral education instead of parent educating a child.
Yeah. And
friends.
Right, and it's a different time too. For with my parents, spanking was an okay thing, and there was like no resentment to it. But now, yeah, but now that it's like, no, we don't want to. Okay, and same with me. I've never hit my son, right? Because there's that resentment feeling that builds up, even though I accept it and understand it from my parents. Okay, but it's something that I chose not to do with my son, but I chose to make those corrections a different way, verbally, and try to get him to understand. And again, I think I went to the right direction with that, and it seems to be something that a lot of parents do these days, is to try to correct the behavior by just talking to them and explaining it. But yeah, that's different time. Parenting was different than compared to what it is now.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, you have the challenge of just a social media driven world now where information is at the ready. If I want to know about, if I want to get a joke, I just type in the joke on Google and I get it. Like somebody explains it to me. Like everything. There's nothing's under a rock anywhere. Like you can find out about it. And,
right. Yeah. Everything is there.
Yeah. So you do got to adapt your parenting style to accommodate for society, and fill in the gaps where you can. And I'm saying this not being a parent at all, so like I don't know the first thing about parenting other than watching my parents parent me. So, but I'll tell you, Fish said something that really stuck out to me, and like I had a very unique experience, very similar to yours, where I was really I didn't want to do anything that I wasn't embarrassed by or a shameful of in front of my parents and family, and to give a window into, like, I grew up in a Christian home. My parents owned a Christian bookstore. They still do. My father passed, but my mother and the rest of my family still runs that. They're very much in the Christian community and all those things. So yeah, absolutely. Do they want to know that their son's a pornographer? Probably not, right? All right, but I'll tell you, it was a load off my shoulders to just be authentic with them and say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I want to do, and then just moved on, and believe it or not, there wasn't a conflict, like they respected the fact that I'm my own person. I'm going to do my own things. And that was a load off my shoulders, because if that wouldn't have went that way, it probably would have been hard to continue what I was doing. Like if I didn't have my family's blessing, that would be a tough thing. So I had to get out in front and just say, hey, here's what's going to happen. Here's what I've been doing. Here's what I continue to plan to do. And I'll change my name if I need to, like just put jokes in, but like, it was a tough thing to do, but I did it. And I think it helped a lot.
There you go. Mike, go ahead and place a bid on that Morgan if you like it. She's looking for a bid of 75. Ryan Riley, glad to have you here. Glad that you like everyone. These guys are all awesome. We've had them all here before. And K-Pop Junkie, glad to have you back. Haven't seen you in a while. CVB, if your parents are Amish, I'm sorry, dude, but you've just been cut off from the world.
That's fascinating to me.
That is scary.
What journey have you been on, my friend?
I know, it's like you must have been doing some terrible sinning this past few nights.
I was going to say.
But anyway, Mike, so like when you say you do erotica and in the other comic book, are the characters are actually doing the deed?
Are they doing the deed?
Yeah, like you depict it graphically.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh okay.
And it depends on the title. There's a range to it. So what we did was we wanted to see what readers wanted, right? Because this wasn't our forte at all. Yeah. So what we did was go as far as we would be willing to go right away, and then we started to pull back as time goes on. And
Mhm.
so we realized that there's actually a healthy middle ground there. Like they don't necessarily just want graphic depictions for the sake of it. It has to feel authentic to the story. So it's a unique challenge because, you know, it's funny that we always kind of isolated sex from a blockbuster film in a lot of ways. Yet there's a lot of sexiness in blockbuster films, but we're okay with a lot of the violence that we put in there, and that's necessary to keep the pace moving, you know. But sex, you know, that's not one that people have ever really tried to factor in and find authentic ways to integrate that into the stories. You see a lot of major failures in films that try to do that, and you know, it's its own thing. So it's really challenged the writers a lot to think about how we do that and do our best to make it authentic. I think the best example that we had of it was in our most recent book, Xenogeist, which is a cyberpunk book. And we decided that in that book we were going to have sex scene, and we decided that, well, in the future, what would sex look like? You know, based off of where the world is today, 100 years from now, what do you see? And we came up with a scenario that these two characters go back to one's apartment, and because they work for the judicial system, they have to sit down and record their consent to one another. And they discuss, everyone has a sexual profile that's uploaded to this database. And what it does is it communicates both persons' profiles and shows their sexual compatibility, so they know what kind of sex they can have with each other.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes. So we have a sex scene, but what's funny is they're having sex because they don't want to wait through the whole program to go through all the regulations and explain all the stuff. And while all this is being read off to them by this holographic otter that's like up on a screen talking about all this stuff with them, like a little cartoon character facilitating consentment. They're having sex, right? And it's like, it was kind of joyful. It was joyful to make the scene because they didn't want to wait because they were really into each other. But then at the same time, you have this thing playing in the background that's kind of helping kind of explain the way the world's working in this time frame, you know? So we try to do things like that with every issue to make it fun and interesting, at least, you know?
Okay. Very interesting. You know, there's a lot of things that you just said there that we could touch on, but I don't want to do that because I had a very similar conversation like that recently. And we were talking about the way how people look at sex today and the way how it was just like 20, 30 years ago. It's really different now. It's like a little more open. It's more open than before, for one thing.
It's controlled.
And,
it was controlled before. Like, you know, we would only see what was on TV and who was deciding what was on TV, you know? Now we all can decide what goes out there.
Yeah,
you know? That's why a meme like Hawk Twa, you know, has made it around to everybody, and everybody knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go far. Like, we all get the joke, you know, and it's because society, like, we matured to a certain point, but we also opened up to a certain point where that stuff can coexist with everything else.
And we're still, to me, I feel like we're still in a transition. And trying to accept all that and take that all in, because we're getting so much more of it now than we've ever had, and it's just trying to figure out how much of that is going to be me, or the society is going to take it into play. So you've got the people that are kind of from the old school of thought, and then you've got these people, the younger ones, that are with the newer school of thought, right? And exactly where is that going to land, or is there going to be a compromise, or will it progress into even more?
It's changed the landscape for everything. Because I met my wife in 2020. We went on our first date in 2020, and I'm sitting there at the car desperately wanting to give her a kiss at the end of the night, and she's standing by my car for 20 minutes after we've left the restaurant. But I finally had to ask her for permission, because I'm like, I don't know what stuff's like nowadays, and I don't she's waiting for me to just kiss her, but I don't want to get
you
a
creep
charge
because you did that.
So You know,
Right?
I was
Yeah.
like,
You know.
look,
Did you
I don't
do
mean to
it?
sound weak. Oh yeah, I asked her, and she's like, yeah, and I was like, and
Such a
now we're
gentleman.
married.
Was that really her response? Yeah.
Yeah, her little coy, like, yeah, because she wanted me to kiss her and she was waiting for it, and I'm just sitting there putzing around because it had been 25 years since I'd been on a date. So
Yeah. Like I was talking to like one of the guys, right, and we're actually talking about that, like, do you make the first move or do you let the girl make the first move? I mean, what should you do? And the guy is telling me, I don't want to make the first move because I don't know if that's going to be the right move. And what if she slaps me?
Oh, it's more than a slap. It's
So is it better?
Well, it might feel. Some guys might like it.
So is it better for if it's the girl just make the first move always?
No,
I kind of like that personally.
Yeah,
I don't know very many guys that would be like, "Oh no, she's into me, I'm out." But there's probably some weird, messed up dudes out there. But I can't think of many.
Yeah. Back in my early days, right? We're taught that the guys make the first move, right? It's a gentle move, okay? Because you kind of want to test the waters and see, and if you get like you feel like you got a good response, then you can go ahead and continue, and just to make it clear, I'm talking about just a case right now.
Back in my day, you'd bonk them on the head with a club and drag them back to your cave. That was that. Now I gotta wait for her to bonk me.
That's the move. But now, okay. The guys are telling me that they like to have the girls make the first move, and my thing is, and I'm giving the guy a hard time. Is, dude, you're not a man. Dude, a man makes the first move. Why are you going to wait for her to make that move?
Well,
you want to go and test the waters.
Fang just told me right now, it doesn't matter really if you like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes the first move.
Okay.
But I'm thinking, it's kind of nerve-wracking, and then she also said that, but most men, they're scared to make the first move because they might get rejected.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I just said.
Yeah,
that's
everybody
what this guy was
though.
telling me.
Ladies are too.
Yeah, they are too.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I just want to make sure my mic doesn't.
It's like when I would go to the what was it, like dance night or something, right? And if a girl asked me, right, I don't care what she looked like or anything like that. But if I got asked to get on a dance floor, I said, yeah, sure, I would go. Because first of all, to have a girl ask you during my time, this is in the 70s, that was hard. That take a tremendous amount of courage for a girl to go ahead and do that. Because it took a lot of courage for me to ask a girl to get on the dance floor. I'd be all nervous. And I'm thinking, well, if this girl's going to do that, she's got to be way more nervous than any of the guys there tonight. So, yeah, I obligated her, and I did go on the dance floor. But it is scary both ways.
So that helped.
Yeah. So, but it does get scary. But when you think about it, we really shouldn't be scared at all, because what's the worst that can happen, right? And you get asked this, they're going to say no. I said, all right, okay. And you just find another girl that you're going to ask, hey, would you like to dance? It's a numbers game.
But this is not about dancing. We're talking about the moment of like lip to lip, like the most scariest intimate start of everything. Like that's where you really want to know. Like,
well, we're talking about is that the fear of getting rejected is on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where we're at this conversation. That's what we're talking about. That especially like right now, guys seem to be more afraid than the girls of getting rejected. Right? The girls seem to have more power now, not just in that, but we'll take a look at all the freaking TikTok and all these other things that all we see are these girls that are just like flaunting themselves. We don't see too many guys that are doing that.
So anyway, okay, but back to the intriguing world that you just said, Mike. I actually have a question. So that you have to like pre-register and then input all this data. about your preferences and blah blah blah. But do they also have to report the after, like how you performed, and grade
Yeah,
you?
there's like a grading system, ranking system, and stuff. Yep.
Oh,
God!
Because
that's
because
harsh. That's harsh.
This is what's gonna happen. And I'm hoping that there's Black Mirror fans in here, because there's an episode of Black Mirror that Bryce Dallas Howard was in, and everyone had this app where everyone reviewed everybody, and you had a social score, and if you were a dirt to someone that was a cashier, well, that cashier could like rank you down, you know, take your score down because you were rude to them. So it kind of created this accountability in this environment where everybody was graded at all times. Businesses wouldn't serve you unless you had a high score, you know, like it was just it created this whole class system, really, just from, you know, that. So that in itself really influenced our decisions and how we created the world for Xenogeist. And we wanted everyone to have like a, you know, like a citizen score and rank. And did you comply with your sexual preferences? Like, did you say that you're comfortable with this, but then you breached that? There needs to be documentation of that, you know, like that's.
God, could you imagine how much that would like mess with romance in general? Like,
exactly,
you know, I mean, like, we really want to go at it, but like, we ate at Chipotle and I don't want to get a bad score. So
exactly,
like, nah, I'm going to pass tonight. And then like, you could still get dinged for not being romantic enough, or like, you know, like I thought he was going to go to.
Well, that's what that technology there's for. You know, that technology is there because even today, dating apps do a lot of the uncomfortable connections for you. Like, it starts the conversations, right? You're both on the same platform, so you both have some of the same intentions, right? You know, you're in a bar and you see a pretty girl, you don't know that she might be there just to have a drink. She doesn't want to meet other people, right? But in an app, you're both there to meet other people, right? So like like imagining, like, you know, 50 to 100 years from now, you know, it's like they're just going to assign companions to you. They're going to say, based off of your profile, these people are compatible for you in all aspects of your life, and we're going to arrange dates for you to meet them and all these things, right? So like that's the vision of the future that we have in Xenogeist, is that a lot of that is taken out of the hands of humanity, and we leave that to technology to pair us and find one another and determine what's who you're compatible with.
But that also seems like it's taking out some of the emotional factor that's involved in a relationship. So then it, I don't know, like, well, where it can go.
Emotions evolve in some respects too with that, right? You know, like, do you call people on the phone as much as you text now? I mean, do you text people more now? You know, like, I don't call my mom as much as I text her now, right? I am coming over, be with you in a second. You know what I mean? It's not hour-long conversations on the phone. You know, the way we connect with people's changed. You know, with technology.
That is true. So I wonder, with that, where we're losing that emotional side, for better or worse, is, you know, I mean, well, that is it. Is it for better or worse, right? And is dating apps really working? Because the dating scene seems to be so chaotic these days that we've got so many freaking, what do you call that, live shows now that's about dating. Love at First Bite, Married at First Sight, Love Inferno, and it goes on and on and on. Okay.
Yeah.
These things are just like freaking soap operas that are clogging our viewing. You know, and how much more are they going to keep putting out there? You know, people are desperate, it seems like. I'm just glad I'm out of that.
Scenarios. It's all social experiments, really. Was the Love is Blind show was the one that my wife got me to watch. All right, and it was interesting because you're only seeing, well, you're not seeing the person, you're just hearing the person, right? And you have to determine if they're lying about who they are. Like, it's scary. Like, that's terrifying, right? Because part of the experiment is you in order to stay on the show, you have to make a connection with somebody, you know, and you never see the person. You're only talking to them, you know. You don't even know if you're physically attracted to them. You got to get to know them as a person. And
right. So you want to fall in love with that person.
Yeah, yeah.
Without the physical attributes
tough.
there.
That
is tough.
We're a visual world.
Can you go through with it? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you see?
Well, we also have whole generations now that grew up like falling in love over AOL Messenger and stuff. So
that was me, dude.
Things have evolved.
Right, and you know, I talk like this. Okay, so let me tell you a little something about like how Mog and I met. Okay, and I'm gonna go through this like really briefly. Right?
I love her story on that.
But before
That's one of my favorite stories. I think about that every week.
You know, Mel.
Yeah.
But before that, I honestly think that what Mike's that world, the sci-fi world, I think is fantastic. I wish something like a system would just take all the work away from me and say, "Hey, here's your partner." Oh, thank you, Lord. Like Jesus, like is it perfect? Does it have the requirements? Like yes. Oh my God, I don't have to search anymore. Yes. And if it doesn't work,
because now you can focus on other aspects of your life.
Exactly. It's like so convenient. I would love that system, man. I would love it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Let's
I don't know if I could
I don't know if I'd live long enough to see it, but that'd be awesome. Interesting.
Anyway, let's go ahead and take a commercial break, and we come back, we'll continue this conversation and review where everybody is at. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Mike Tenner, and we're talking about sex and dating. We'll be right back.
Ask your local comic shop to add Battle Quest comics to your pull list today. Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below.
In a world where you hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel,
that'd be really great. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. Oh, that was a piece that Mog did last week.
That was the piece I finished for last week. I wanted to.
Yeah. You wanted to show that? You want to show that again? There you go.
Yeah.
It's coming right up.
That's the Ishgard, one of the airships. That's a more fancier one. But this is a workshop where they're actually building a model. So that's a 3D. Oh, sorry. That's a 3D model. And those are creatures I added in for fun. It's not part of the thing. Those creatures are hilarious.
They're huge.
Believe it or not, those are monsters you have to defeat. They're called paisas. But the boss is actually really nice. If you give him like nuts and stuff and gather, he will grind it up, make a very nutritious meal. You can actually eat it. It's good for you. So yeah, I don't know. I really like the creature, so I added that.
It's cute.
Good, cool. All right. Well, let's go around the board. Take a look at what everybody has. Starting with you again, Mog, with the current piece, Final Fantasy piece that you're working on.
Love the colors.
And that's Morgan. That already has a bid from Mike. Mike W has a place a bid on that for $75, so he's opened that up on the board. Good going there. Thank you, Mike. Hey, Sean, thanks for coming to the show. Pushing out Bad Bug and their entire catalog. Okay, he recommends it to everyone. If you haven't been there yet, go ahead and check it out. All right, so we're looking for the next bid on Morgan for at 80. It was a grand larceny at 150, like I said. Yeah. All right, and let's see your latest piece, Mog.
Oh, okay. It's still in the early developing process.
Right. Okay,
but,
yeah, still looking like it's in Cloud City.
Yeah.
But coming up. Okay, so she's looking for a bid of 250 on that, and she's going to be spending quite a bit of time before she's done on that. Okay. Now let's go to Miss Jen, who is working on Robin Hood.
Cool. Gorgeous.
Looking very nice. Again, nice hair.
Shading.
A little flip curl on there.
Shading on the face is so good.
Yep. Anna Zhao too said her favorite thing to work on was hair. I think a lot of girls like doing that. I think it's because it's a lot of flowy, billowy. Bridgeport puts a bid on $80 on Morgan. Okay, so now we are looking for a bid of 85 or better.
Hey, thank you. Yeah.
And let's take a look at John Stinsman.
Ready?
Ouch, that piece looks pretty much done.
Wow, John.
Not quite.
It's
In
half it.
there.
Half it. There's a lot more.
Amazing, John.
Thank you.
As usual.
Yeah, the good pose. It's a really good pose.
Yep. Love that. And let's see. Let's go to now Mr. Fish.
There we go. Coming along nicely. Starting to get the colors in there.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Cool.
Yep.
What's that character in the background again?
That is Big Tin. He is essentially the Tin Man from Oz.
That's a cool character design, man.
He is her clockwork guardian automaton that follows her around and keeps her from getting herself into too much trouble that she can't get out of.
Yeah.
Very nice. And thank you, Stevie. Puts a bid on Jin's Robin Hood, gets her on the board at 50. Thank you for that.
Awesome, Stevie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. And Mr. Fish is looking for a bid of also $50. So if you want to place a bid, you can go ahead and do that in the comments. Right. And if you want to get in for the giveaways, don't forget to put in #EXP Bad Bug. And we actually have 4 giveaways that we'll be doing tonight. So yeah, go ahead and get that in there. Okay. All right. So we were talking about
I think
how you
what
Mog.
was the title? I forgot, Mike. That futuristic title of the comic book.
Xenogeist.
Xenogeist. There you go.
Yeah, Xeno.
Yeah,
Geist.
Xenogeist.
Yeah.
But that's not the only interesting title you have. How many titles do you have anyway?
It's over 20. It's over 20.
Okay.
I think it's 28.
All right.
We counted like a few months back, but I think we forgot a few. I think it's around that. Okay.
The best place to see all that is at?
Well, our website would normally be the place to go. We're remodeling it right now. But badbugmedia.com. We're also on Patreon, but that's for all the collectors out there. We get a lot of cool stuff.
There you go. Get on top of that. Be a bad bug yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, cling on to that like a ladybug. What is the bid on John's Huntress? I am not seeing a crawl tonight. John is looking for a bid of 65. See, where is it? 65, and there are no bids on that yet. So if you want to get that in there, Mike, you have a very clear path there, buddy. All right. Is there a title that you would like to talk about, Mike, that you want to make sure that we know about?
Sure. Well, I'll let you know what our plans are for July, like what we have going on and what we have in July. We have one other campaign running right now that's called Don't Talk to the Dead. And it is about these kids that do just that. And they end up going to hell to reclaim
what a wrap.
lost soul.
As you do.
As they do, right?
Yeah.
And so these kids are going through the different levels of hell, experiencing challenges that make them grow together as friends and as people. And so I like to tell people it's like the Goonies meets Dante's Inferno. It's the best way to kind of break that one down. And it's a little bit, it definitely leans more into the mature side because these kids, this series is supposed to really be chronicling them going from being just kids to like realizing that life is more and learning to mature and grow together as people. So it's a fun series, but it does deal with some pretty heavy themes. I mean, they're in hell after all, so where else are you going to experience heavy themes, right? So, but that's running on Kickstarter right now, and we have some good promotions for that right now because it's in the early bird stages of that.
Okay.
Was that by any chance? Was that by any chance inspired by the Dante's Inferno, where there's levels of hell?
It is, yeah, absolutely. Like we, Ruben Romero and Casey Boker are the writers for this, okay, and they wanted to see these kids experience, that in a lot of ways what Dante's experience was, or his account of, like, want to see it through all the stages and expose these kids to like lust and greed and all these different things, and you just kind of see in real time, like, how would these friends, how would they work together through these kinds of challenges as they go through this supernatural world. So they do it in fun ways, and the art itself in the book is so counterintuitive to what you'd expect. Like when you think of hell, you think of reds and yellows and browns and scorched earth and stuff, but hell really is just this like wide spectrum of colors down there, and it's as soon as we get into hell, it's greens and purples, like there's. So, like, the art team really did a good job of kind of giving you a new hell, like a different vision of hell than what I think we've seen in a lot of comics that tend to take you there. So it makes it kind of exciting in that way, too, because you're kind of getting a unique take on hell.
Are you familiar with the Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey?
The art, yeah, like the structure of the story of the Hero's Journey, yeah.
Yeah. So just like in the Hero's Journey, and also actually in Dante's Inferno, do the kids get a guide through hell?
Yes.
Okay.
Like
Who is
Virgil.
this guy? Huh?
There's an older gentleman that's with them. His name's Raj, and he is essentially he knows he's been to hell before. He's been in and out of hell before. So and the story starts with these kids stealing a Ouija board from an antique store that Raj owns. All right. And this Ouija board was not for sale. Okay. It was Raj just had it, so the idea is that, he's kind of feeling like partly to blame because it was out where they could reach for it and he should have hit it and all those things. So he feels compelled to like take them on this journey after they've used this Ouija board because there's an archdemon that takes one of the kids' souls. So they're obviously trying to make sure that when this kid dies, he doesn't go to hell. So that they're going there to kind of, fight wrongs, So Raj obviously feels compelled to be their guide through this. But again, part of the allure of that story is the fact that Raj, having been to hell and came back, there's still going to be unexpected things that even he wasn't anticipating that happened. So hell's a different experience for everybody is the idea. And you kind of get a little bit of that whenever we go through that series. It's a 6-issue series, and this is the 2nd issue. So there's still a lot of ground to cover, but that's the roadmap of the story, essentially.
I mean, forgive me for being a bit like, I guess, stickler for the tradition, but shouldn't it be 7 because, the 7 pins?
That's the plan. Yeah. They definitely used Dante's Inferno as a baseline there.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a Divine Comedy, actually. Right? Isn't that like
Yeah.
the bigger?
Yeah,
piece?
it is a Divine Comedy.
Yeah. So like I've never read it. Like it's not. I'm not into hell. They are. Okay. So like they explained to me what their roadmap was for the series, and I thought it was just really intriguing how they introduce all the different levels and stuff. But yeah, it's the 7 levels, and some issues we'll cover a few levels. There might be an issue dedicated to one specific level. That's kind of been the breakdown as far as the way the issues progress.
Right on, man. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. They did a good job on it. A really great art team. Really, really great art team.
All right, we got you. Mike just raised a bid on Jen's Robin Hood to 60. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Mike.
And Mike Kenner, can you tell us about Astro Witch? Because that's something that I've been kind of curious about myself.
Astro Witch. Okay.
Yeah.
So same writers as
okay.
Don't Talk to the Dead. Yeah.
Oh,
and this would be their Bad Bug Midnight title, which Midnight is what we codename our mature and erotic titles. So we have Bad Bug Media, which is the safer work stuff, and then you have Bad Bug Midnight, which is all the big kid stuff. So
the dark side.
The dark side. So Astro Witch is their title on that side. And what it is we wanted to have a Dark Phoenix character. Is where this started. We started saying, hey, we want a character that's powerful on a cosmic scale. And so I went to Hedwin Zaldivar. Do you guys know Hedwin?
Yeah.
Okay. So
he's all over the place.
Yeah, he is now. So I've known Hedwin since I started in comics. He's one of the first people I ever worked with, and I didn't realize like how great he was. Well, I knew he's great at the time, but I didn't realize that now he was going to be like doing books for Polito.
He's very prolific now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So, but like he's just a guy I know. You know what I mean? Like that's been my relationship with him. Right?
We haven't even met him yet.
No, I haven't either. Like I've seen pictures of him. That's it. But he colored interiors for a few of our books. Midnight Highway in particular is one that he did a great job on and stuff. But he's been an inspiration for me when I think about like what I like in color work. All right. And he's one of my favorite colorists, but he's also one of my favorite artists. Like he does really great line arts. So anyway, I went to him and I was like, hey, you want to talk about a great character designer? Hedwin Zaldivar. Like I sat down, showed him some references of what we had in mind. We wanted to have a Mesoamerican character because Casey and Ruben have Mesoamerican, that's in their history. Yeah. All right. So we wanted to have a character that kind of more or less reflected them. And we just started digging into the details, and Hedwin came up with this amazing character design. We made some adjustments and stuff, but he knocked it out of the park. It's exactly what we wanted. So that was the first time that we actually started the development of a story with the character design, and then went backwards. Like we were like, all right, what's the story about this character now?
Yeah.
And so, what it is she's a cosmic deity that has been roaming, the universe, just going to all these different worlds and just learning about life. And then she comes to Earth and falls in love. And this is like hundreds of years ago. And she takes a physical form and falls in love with a man, and they have children that then create a line of descendants through the ages from this cosmic being. And she chose the form that you see in her character design because that's where she was when she first came to the Earth. So it's kind of like a Mayan kind of look to the character, or Incan kind of design. So we kind of keep it vague as far as where exactly she was on the planet, but you kind of get an idea that it's in the Central and South American area. So she falls in love, has kids, and then they just go on. And the thing about her is she can't stay in one place. She has to, her life is out there in the cosmos, so she leaves. And now with her siblings, who are of a similar power scale to her, they're turning on her and they want to kill her. So she is now escaping down to the planet where her last descendants remain, because of all of her peers have destroyed all of her descendants on all the other planets to completely eradicate her because she's so powerful and they don't like her being that powerful. So on Earth, she's got one descendant that ends up being her unwitting host, and she can return back to a physical form. And basically she's got to like teach this girl how to be the Astro Witch, which is this powerful cosmic being. And coincidentally, she is she gets energy from connection, and so sex creates energy and power for her.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
So that's where she gets that like Dark Phoenix level power from and stuff. So it's just that there's an interesting like kind of duality story there of like, the girl is who she is, Luna, and then the Astro Witch also being inside her.
Right.
And those two being at odds.
There's that duality, and how do you deal with one and the other, and how do you balance and compromise? A lot of areas that you could work with there in developing that story and characters. That's going to be interesting. The covers that I saw that were being posted is what drew my attention to it, and that's the whole reason why I asked you about it. So thank you for that. If you guys want to check that out, you know where to go. Bad Bug Media. Okay. All right. We are getting close to 8:30, but let's go around the room one more time, see what we have on the board, and we'll update you on what the bids are at, because there's been a lot of action in this last half hour. Let's start with you, Justin. We do now have a bid of 65 from Mike W. I'm sorry, John.
Oh, me. Okay.
Yeah. My bad.
There you go. Thanks again, Mike.
There you go.
Guess what? This one's going to get done fast because I have a package right here from Mike, and it contains. I don't want to show it off because he said he likes the surprise of opening it.
Okay.
But it does contain.
Here we go.
Note of thank you and some art that he's purchased in the past, and this will go in there.
That's
nice. Get a label and we'll go out to Mike, and if he wants, and I appreciate him more than words to say. So thank you.
Wow, he put a mat on that thing. Made it look all spiffy and everything. All right, so 65 is where the Huntress stands, with a bid from Mike on that, and Mike also has a bid on Robin Hood from Jen. So let's take a look at that now. And the standing bid. Oh yeah, that's look at that.
Somebody's getting the beauty.
60 is where it stands right now. Looking for the next bid of 65 or better. You want to place a bid on that? Go ahead and do so in the comments, and that will get you there. Okay.
What is the story of her eyeballs?
She was actually raped, and the person who raped her cut her eyeball out, and she's basically seeking justice for these things.
Somebody's gonna pay.
Yep.
I never actually knew that. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Let's let's go to Mr. Fish. Oh yeah, look at that.
Just wrapping up things on Alice there.
Very cool.
Fixing to go on to Big Ten.
Yeah. Looking like a samurai Alice with that sword.
Oh yeah,
there.
it's definitely like in this realm of Wonderland where it's a interdimensional rift. She's like a wandering Ronin. So I wanted it to be sexy enough to get that teenage boy eye to want to be like, hey, let me check that out in the readers walking by at cons. But I wanted to try and capture some of that samurai vibe too. So I was
She
looking at
definitely has that vibe.
The
for sure.
hair really
Yeah.
sells that to me too. I like the hair choice there.
The hair, the knot in the front, on the waist there. Yep.
So,
She's
Mr.
got her sleeping roll there as well, like a
Oh
true
yeah, they're
Ronin.
always on the move. So
Yep.
yeah, they got to be ready to go at any time.
Mr. Fish.
Yes,
do
ma'am.
Do you like freckles on girls? Do you find it attractive?
I'm pro girls. I mean, I'm pro women in general. So, I mean, I'm not like obsessively done with it, but when I put some of my story ideas together, one character that I ended up replacing with Alice had freckles. So she has freckles because that character had freckles because she was based on a friend of mine's look. And so it's a throwback to like these stories I'm putting together. Some of these stories are 30 years old that I've been working on. So like some of these characters go way back in my imagination, and then some of them are relatively new. But when I put all this stuff together, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that whole planet that I thought of for this, that fits really well into this public domain story. And then I can make this character, that character. And it's been so much fun.
All right, let's take now a look at the Morgan. Oh, by the way, we're still looking for a bid on this piece right here. We are looking for an opening bid of 50. So if you want to go ahead and place a bid on that, do so in the comments. And here we have Morgan from Fong Fong. And she has that nice. Yeah, she's almost done with that. Okay, that's looking nice. That currently has a bid of $80 from Bridgeport. So thank you for that. We are still can accept the next bid of 85. Very nice.
I'm glad they asked.
She has a sweet, innocent look there. You know, look at the eyes there. You know, she's revealing a lot, but you know, she looks very sweet and innocent. You see, Stephen Dana writes, Mog, these aren't freckles. A Yatua predator is taking aim at her.
Don't get me wrong.
Both sides of the face at the same time, too.
You know, I wasn't.
Yeah, get it from the side.
My question wasn't to attack anything. Like, I'm actually surprised. In case you thought it was like that.
No.
It just like freckles. Like, I like freckles. I think they look really nice on.
Oh no, I love it, and it helps her stand out and look unique along with her bright white hair, and she always gets like light blue lines for her hair because it's like really white, and it's a big part of the story and everything. But yeah, I love it. I loved the freckles on the original character, and that's just stuck out as iconic in my mind. So like she gets her jaw shape and everything from that, and
you like freckles too, right?
The link for bidders, Mike, I'm not really sure what you mean there, but if you want to place a bid on anything, you just go ahead and put it into the comments. Let's see. Ilya asks, can you show the Huntress drawing? Let's see that Huntress from Mr. John Stinsman. Currently has a bid. Oh, he's not here?
Yeah.
No, we'll have to come back. You probably have to dash out. Okay. We'll get back to that. But let's take a look at Mog's piece. Still looking for an opening bid of 250.
I'm sorry.
On this Final Fantasy.
I'm putting it high because I honestly want to take it. I need some material to take to Denver. So.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
All right, somebody place a bid on this quick.
No, please no.
Place a bid on it.
Last time I did 150. I was like, okay, no one's gonna. I need to take it to Denver.
She doesn't need to take it to Denver. Trust me, I'm the manager.
No, I need to take it to Denver. There's a lot of Final Fantasy people, lovers there. So yeah.
Well, you can do another one. You still have time.
No.
Yeah. Denver is still like a week away.
I want to create a series.
All right, we got a bid of $70 on Jin. That just went up there. Thank you for that, Ilya.
Yeah.
You want to play with watercolor?
I think Ilya has a lot of stuff from Jen already.
She has picked up a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
So can I throw out a fun fact? We had that comment that someone said about a Yalta predator.
Yeah.
I never knew that the race of predators from the movie Predators were called that.
Yeah, same here.
Me neither.
That was the name of that species. Like you had the xenomorphs in Alien, right?
Right.
Yeah, they were called the Yalja or whatever. However you say that. That was what the predators were. That's cool.
And they do have, what's the next movie coming out? It's Aliens versus Predator, right? I think the third one in that.
It's another Alien movie.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay.
There is another Prey. Did you see Prey?
Yeah. Waiting for the second one. See where they go with that. That would be pretty interesting.
I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah. The newest Predator movie, right?
But the new Alien film looks really good.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Back to the first one.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think it's in between 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's like 3 didn't happen.
Yeah. Something like that.
That's it's a prequel.
Alien Romulus.
I think it's I think Romulus is a prequel to all those.
Is it? Okay.
And then there's another film that is taking place between 2 and 3, but that one's later. That one's coming out later. There's a lot of Alien movies.
Yeah, in the works. I'm happy about it. Hopefully
Actually,
it'll be good.
I like Predator because they have an honor system, right? It's kind of this like samurais of
it's like they have a Bushido code in a way.
Yeah, it's really nice. But
well, eventually we'll see more about that as well.
Oh, anyway, Mike, I do have a question like that. Witch, Astro Witch?
Yeah.
You said she's a cosmic force, and like in any comic book, there's a singular cosmic force, like Galactus is the Devourer, right?
Right.
And death is there's death and all that. So what is this? Then what is this Astro Witch singular thing that's the cosmic power?
I don't know if we clearly define that in the comics yet.
Okay.
But what we do is introduce like her exact opposite. Okay. And so with the inclusion of a character that is like the negative version of her, we're going to answer more of that stuff.
Interesting.
Because really we threw Luna, who's the descendant of the Astro Witch. We threw Luna right into the adventure. We didn't give her much time to like get established or anything.
Okay.
It's just like, hey, I'm here. I'm your ancestor, but also your life partner now. Okay. And we're going to get through this together and I'll explain on the way, and that's kind of how we've described it. So the source of her power and the way that works in the universe, we haven't dug into all that yet. Good question though.
Yeah, I'm just dying of curiosity because.
Well, we like to pull things out of our ass too, so that's the other thing too. We probably haven't actually come up with the answer for that yet.
This is where the best ideas come from.
That's, dude, no joke. Some of my best ideas come from when I'm just sitting on the toilet.
I mean, the most classic I can think of right now in my brain, I'm just speculating right now, is kind of like she could be like the maker, like creation maybe force, and then the nemesis could be the negative of that. So the unmaker, could be. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but.
Well,
it sounds like Mog is trying to be the writer.
Yeah, like Mog, like they want to work on other books, so we could pass Astro Witch over to you. But the idea is that her opposite operates on fear, and Astro Witch operates on connection. So the idea there, I think, is that fear drives you away from connection and love. So the story in issue 3, which we just wrapped up on Kickstarter, that just ended, but the story for that one was that she's facing herself. Like Luna is facing her own fears, while Astro Witch is facing, her negative. So there's like a parallel between both those characters facing the things that are in their way right now. So you get a little sense of fear being a factor as an enemy to love and connection.
Wow, it's like a really nice moral, like into all your stories. There's a moral kind of lesson. I love that.
Listen, like I said, everything that we do, like erotic or not, we put the same amount of effort into the storytelling. Like we don't rush anything. Like Casey, I wish Casey and Ruben were on here for you right now, because you will not believe how many times we go through the editing process before we start on a book, and they would tell you that we're just so nitpicky. Like that's what they say. We're very aggressive with the editing and tailoring things and making sure that when it gets out there, we're really feeling like this wasn't rushed and this was the right version of the story that we needed to tell. So we put effort into everything that we do. Thanks.
You know what intrigued me also when you said usually this was the Astro, which is a kind of an exception where you kind of created a character first and then the story came after. And I thought that's usually how it goes. But so what is your usual process then? What do you start first? Is it the world or is it the plot? What is it?
It's never the world building. We never do that first because we have one amongst us who is a world builder, and we realize how exhausted we would be if we just started with building the world before we told the story. So we start with setting, and then we wonder what kind of character would we want to learn about in that setting, and then what kind of story spins off of that character. Like, hey, if this is a character that's blind, well, it's a post-apocalyptic world. Well, now what we want to know is, well, what's an interesting story for a blind person in a post-apocalyptic world to face? So it always starts with questions, and then sometimes we hit a wall with an idea and we're like, well, that's not that interesting. So but then we start there almost always. That's one first step in the process would be that. And then we also look at an artist that we want to work with. And when we love their style, we start to build a story around their style. And we've made books because of the artists that we've locked in for interiors. So we'll reach out to, we'll look at our schedule and say, hey, we've got room for another book. What's an artist? Who's an interior artist that we want to work with? And we'll find one. And we'll be like, all right, what kind of story would we want to make with this artist? And then we start the creative process that way. It's those are really the two lanes that we typically start in. Recklessly, I started coming up with ideas by coming up with a title. Like I would be on the toilet, as I mentioned, like all the best ideas are on the toilet, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on a toilet and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a cool book. So let's get started. Came up with a cool name.
Do you make a story around about the artist? Start from the artist, what they're thinking?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
From an artist's point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like an interesting story. So we're gonna start doing a segment where we come up with pitches on the spot, because we're Bad Bug, like that's the whole thing, is like we like come up with pitches really quickly and we riff on that a lot. So the idea is on our show we're gonna basically do that. It's just like give us the elements and then we're gonna create a pitch. So let's say you're talking about an artist telling a story from the perspective of an artist. All right, so like in my opinion, like an interesting story to tell of an artist is when they illustrate and what they illustrate becomes real, right? So like we've seen instances of that in stories in past, but now you come up with an interesting scenario for that. So maybe every like whatever an artist draws, maybe they can bring people back to life if they illustrate them. Like if I draw a historical figure, Abraham Lincoln's back, you know what I mean? Like or whatever, like there's plenty of places you can go with stuff like that. But creation seems to be the theme around an artist, right? So whatever I would do, it would be around creationism or the idea of either creating or destroying something. Like that's what I would do if I was telling the story from an artist perspective.
All right, if you guys haven't done so yet, put in #EXP Bad Bug. We're about ready to do the giveaways before the night escapes us, because we've been really getting into this conversation with Mike. And the time has gone by quickly. It's like one of those times where you wish you had like more time, but we'll definitely bring Mike back and probably a few more guys from Bad Bug as well, and we'll get a really good discussion.
Oh, great.
But yeah, #EXP Bad Bug, just like you see, that's coming in there now. We got it from Ryan Riley, Derek Neiman is in there, Sean Butler is in there. We got we'll give it like another more minute before we get to rolling on that. Let's go ahead and take a quick round and look at where everybody is at with their drawings, and I'll give you guys an update on where that is. Let's start with Mog.
What? What's the least?
Yeah.
Why choose
me? That's the whole reason why. Yeah.
What the heck?
That reaction.
That's the whole
That sold
reason
it.
why. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So everybody place a bid on that. We're looking for one for $250. Let's take it away. Spoil Mog's plan of taking it to Denver.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right. Okay. She is looking for a bid of $250 on that. And she's going to spend a couple of days working on that. All right. And then there's Fung Fung's Morgan, Sweet and Innocent. Not so sweet. Yeah. What size is that piece, Mog? Ilya is asking.
No, Ilya, don't know. Okay, hold on.
No, don't do it to me.
Don't tell me. Okay.
Mog's Morgan mover. All right, so while she's going and measuring that, Morgan right now is at $80 from Bridgeport. Right, so we are looking for an $85 bid on that, and don't forget. Fill out that magic forms. That way we know where everything goes. Okay, that will be coming up in a link very shortly.
Oh, 7 by 10.
All right, now let's go ahead. So what's the measurement?
It's 7 by 10.
7 by 10. Okay, 7 by 10 is on that piece right there. All right, let's go to John Stisman. Currently has a bid of 65 from Mike W.
Yay, thank you. You guys are awesome.
Oh man, look at that. That is sweet. And he's got good hair.
She's an Italian girl. She's got to have nice, full, dark hair.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Like I said, it's too small for that price. Okay. And you just made Mog smile. Ilya. Okay. All right, let's take a look at Jin. Currently has a bid of $70 from Ilya. Ow!
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
God, that's gorgeous.
And Steve Vendetta is asking Mog, are you familiar with British fantasy artist Roger Dean? Yes.
Roger Dean?
Yeah, do you know who that is? He's a fantasy artist. Very, very famous.
Roger Dean.
Yeah. Elliot just placed a bid of 75 on Jin, raises that up.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
What did you
Oh, I love Roger Dean.
Landscape.
Yeah. Yeah, Roger Dean is fantastic.
Oh, like sci-fi.
Yes, very sci-fi.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like Planet World.
And right, let's take a look. Okay, now we are, and Stevie B just took it to $80 on Jin.
Thank you.
I learned a lot from Stevie B. Stevie B, you're a very learned man.
He has a wealth of information to share.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not let that give away his age. All right, so we are looking for a bid of $50 on Mr. Fish. He's got 2 characters on there. Okay, $50 is very low on a sketch cover, a Green Zone sketch cover, and you are getting his characters there.
Yes, indeed.
Original art, man. I mean, like that's
take that. Thank you, Ilya. Ilya just raised it to $90 on Jin.
Thank you.
Roger Dean's work inspired many of Avatar's visuals.
Yeah, I can
there
see
you
that.
go. We're talking about the movie, not
you know
Avatar
what I thought
comics.
of? When I was looking at this stuff, I thought of like the original, like the Flash Gordon movie out of the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I always loved that movie because of the backgrounds.
Oh,
like,
man.
Right?
So beautiful.
Yeah, so gorgeous. Like bright, saturated colors, and that's what you see in his Roger Dean stuff here. Like, so you can kind of see those influences for sure.
Right.
Yep.
And
I'm
we got
probably this
100.
guy told me about this because like I would have never saw this stuff. I probably seen some of this before and just didn't realize. You know, that's always my problem. Is I see the art, I'm like I love it, and then I forget the name.
Oh man,
well,
I'm
now
so
I
bad
don't.
about
Now
names.
I don't. But you know,
There you go.
yeah.
All right, so let's go to the giveaways. Let's go ahead and roll them. Okay, so first thing that we're going to be giving away is, let's see if I can get my list here, is it's a print from Fung Fung, and this is Sandman. There you go.
Wow.
And so we'll be giving this away.
I never saw the TV show. Is it good?
I thought so.
Yeah, I thought I liked it.
I think it's hard to pull off. You know, that was really hard to pull off, and I
Very
think they
nice.
did a pretty good job.
Let's go ahead and roll that. See who our winner is on this Sandman piece. Dun, 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 dun.
Yay,
Mike!
Mike!
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Okay. And then the next piece that we're going to give away, I will let, if you can bring that up, and then I'll let Fung Fung explain it, because I believe this is her own creation. There you go.
This is a original character.
Yeah, original. This is original characters from her.
One of my friend's cover.
Mm-hmm.
And he built the world like it's kind of like a Star Wars.
Yeah, it does have that feel.
Yeah.
Combined
A fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. I love that headpiece.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
Go. I love the fangs. Ernest Board 9 at the top left. I can see that. I can see that. All right, let's go ahead and roll for this. See who our winner is. If you haven't yet, you can put in #EXP Bad Bug. Still a lot more giveaways that we're going to be doing here tonight. Lorena!
What? Lorena! Yay!
Ooh, our neighbor out here from the Inland Empire, same as us. All right, let's bring up the next piece. I believe this is another original characters.
This is for online video game.
Okay. Do you remember? But you forget. You remember which game?
I don't play games.
It's a crossover tale, so they have a different story things, and each one. This one is zombie. Yeah.
Ah, okay. This is zombie. That's probably why she's that color blue. Let's go ahead and roll for this and see who our winner is on this. Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, congrats!
Bridgeport Chronicles gets this one. Okay, and we have one more giveaway that we're doing. There you go. Fishtails Volume 1 from Mr. Fish himself. Let's see who gets this.
Our amazing, beautiful friend. Hey guys, did you know when we finally met Fish, he's super tall. He's a giant.
Xbox wins this one. Very good.
Yeah, it throws everybody off when they meet me in person. I always get the same thing. They're like looking at me, and then it clicks, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're tall!"
So
every time.
Are you like 6.5? Or...
I'm 6'4.5", but I'm also like 300 pounds. So I mean, I'm a giant guy.
He's a big guy.
Carry me around.
There's a lot of me standing there.
Right, don't forget to fill out that magic form so that way we know where all this is going to go. We've got a couple more minutes left to get your bids in. If you want to, if there's anything else that you want to bid on there, or maybe we will see some sniping action or a bid war.
I think if I was like a girl walking next to you, I'm a girl, sorry. Fish, I would feel very safe because like you're so big and tall. It's like, okay, no one's gonna mess with this guy. It's like, yes.
My wife is like 5 feet tall. There's like a 15-inch height difference between us. And I don't think about it most of the time because most of the time, like we're sitting next to each other. Like we're sitting next to each other in the car or we're sitting next to each other in our chairs watching TV, you know. I don't think about it until like we try and take a picture together, and then it gets really challenging. Like the first time I took a selfie, it had the top of her head in it, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, we gotta refigure something here."
My wife and I are the same height. Essentially, I think I've got 1 inch on her, maybe, and you know, like you can tell, like if she's upset with me because she'll wear heels. If we're going out to eat or something, you know, like she'll just establish that she's the taller person, you know. So I love it.
All right, guys.
I actually just had a conversation with Gwen about this the other night because she's talking about how tall Gregbo was after seeing him at Heroes Con.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, Gregbo's not that tall. He's only like maybe an inch taller than me.
Gwen is like.
And my dad is 6'6", and his brother and his son are 6'7". So I'm like, that's not tall.
Seeing Gwenelle in person was like because you never see her, like she doesn't have like a lot of selfies or anything like that. Like, so
I think it's just recently she's just started showing pictures of herself.
She's beautiful. She's adorable. She's so sweet, right? Like, so it's nice to be able to see the person behind all this personality. And she was so short. Like seeing her in person at a con, I thought it was Gregbo's daughter or something. Like just this little girl next to Gregbo, you know. And yeah, Gregbo's like my height. Like he's not like a super tall dude or anything.
No, he's not.
He's probably about 5'10" or something.
That's what I am. I'm 5'10", so
gotcha.
Or 5'9", I think a little bit. You know, I think I'm at the point in life now where I get shorter. You know, I keep hoping I'm going to gain an inch, but I'm actually losing it now.
All right, guys, we're at the end of our show. We are out of time. Mike, I want to thank you for joining us today. It was a blast. And definitely we'll have you back, or if you feel like you got something big that you want to promote, reach out to us, and we'll try to schedule you in. Just to let you know, let everybody know. The show is doing pretty well. Our numbers are pretty consistent. We definitely like to grow that in, but I'm booked as far as like guest goes for pretty much the rest of the year. I think I have like 3 maybe spots that are open. But go ahead and reach out to us if you'd like to come on. Next week we will not be here. That is 4th of July. I'm giving everybody a break. But in 2 weeks we will be back with David Daub, who will be joining us as our special guest. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us today. It was a lot of fun. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks so much.
Bye, everybody.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.